So good morning, good afternoon, dear colleagues and H4D partners. My name is Ignacio Barreta Sartini, and I'm Knowledge Consultant at the World Bank. It's a pleasure to be here as a Master of Ceremony at this webinar organized by the World Bank Hydrogen for Development Initiative. Before we start our session, I would like to express our gratitude to the presenters and the speakers that are joining today in our session. From the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum of Mauritania, Mr. Mamadou Kane, Senior Advisor to the Minister, and Ms. Tanija Abderrahmane, Director of Low Carbon Hydrogen. From Mauritanie Hydrogen, an H4D partner, Mr. Sidi Minehna, co-founder, and for our World Bank Mauritania Hydrogen Infrastructure Study Report, Mr. Tayeb Amegroud, Managing Partner at G-Power, and Ms. Leila Faher, Project Manager at GISA Worley. Dear colleagues, welcome to the session. Before we move to the opening remarks, I would like to introduce to the audience to Mr. Dolf Gillen. Dolf is a hydrogen lead and industrial transformation co-lead at the World Bank. He has 3 decades of experience in energy policy and technology, and previously held senior position at IRENA and UNIDO. Dolf has a PhD from Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands. Thank you for your attention. Dolf, over to you for the openings.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ignacio, and thank you all for joining for this webinar. I'm very delighted that we have this webinar because it's the culmination of a study which we have conducted together with the government in Mauritania and the hydrogen project developers over the past years. And I think this is the first time, at least for an international audience, that we show the results of this study. Mauritania, we see as a key country going forward for renewable hydrogen development. It's one of the 10 countries that we have selected for our 10 gigawatt lighthouse initiative. So that is an initiative which is trying to accelerate the financing and the investments for renewable hydrogen projects in emerging markets and developing countries. We see that there are a number of barriers to get these projects to FID, and one of these barriers relates to the enabling infrastructure. And so that was very much the focus of this study. From a World Bank perspective, infrastructure is also very interesting because usually that infrastructure is being developed with also an important public sector component, and that is a component then that the bank can finance. So we are already engaged in hydrogen infrastructure financing, for example, in Brazil, and we are discussing similar engagements also in a number of other countries. And if we talk infrastructure, we mean ports, roads, provision of desalinated water, electricity infrastructure, pipeline and storage infrastructure for hydrogen and hydrogen derivatives, etc. So there are technical aspects, there are economic aspects, and there are also institutional aspects. So in many countries, what is under discussion is what they call a common user infrastructure that can be used for a number of hydrogen and ammonia and other derivative projects. I think I'll end my opening words here, and I said very much looking forward to the presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dolf, for those words, and which perfectly set the tone for today's discussion on Mauritania pathway of becoming a global green hydrogen hub. Now, for our first introduction of the day, I would like to welcome to Mr. Kane and Ms. Abderrahmane. I hope I pronounced it well, from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum of Mauritania. Mr. Kane is a senior advisor to the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum of Mauritania, with over 25 years of leadership across energy, water, and telecommunications. He has led major renewable and gas power projects and now advises on Mauritania's national energy transformation and green hydrogen development. Ms. Abderrahmane is the Director of Low Carbon Hydrogen at the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum of Mauritania. She leads the country green hydrogen agenda and regulatory framework, overseeing the implementation of 2024 Green Hydrogen Code and positioning Mauritania as a regional hub for low carbon hydrogen and ammonia production. Dear Mr. Kane and Ms. Abderrahmane, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear us? Okay, good. We will share the floor. I'm happy to be here with you, with my friend Wolf, because I knew him in UNIDO, and after in IRENA we worked together in that, and I'm happy when I see this kind of people. I'm always happy to be here. I'm confident. We thank you very much for your support. We tried hard to get a flag, Mauritanian flag on green hydrogen sector, because we know and we're conscious that we have a very good potential, and that will conduct the country to the real first, let's say, industrial projects. We have done this study with GESA. It was maybe the first step for us to go through our objectives. And meanwhile, what we have done, it's very important, because we are now in discussion with the European Union for the roads, and we launched after that a PPP project for a port in the south of Nouadhibou that will allow to, let's say, upgrade our good infrastructures for that. I will let my young colleague Taqiya present the situation of green hydrogen in Mauritania. We started 2 or 3 years ago with the 2 partners. Now I think we have maybe 12 or something like that. I will let her present the situation. But anyway, we are happy to be here, and I can underline that this study done by GESA was a very good milestone for us, as now we are in position to share this very important infrastructure. Takia, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I would like to start first by joining Mr. Khan in expressing our appreciation for the World Bank, strong partnership we have with them, as well as the work that has been carried out by GESA. This infrastructure gap assessment study was, I think, one of the key elements that we needed as a government, just to at least have a tangible study that can actually give us an overview of where we need to go. And I think during this meeting, our colleague Leila will give more details about the different scenarios that were carried in the study, and how Mauritania will be able to host more than 80 gigawatts. So with the European Union, as Mr. Khan mentioned, we are working on a couple of recommendations that were formulated by the study, especially for scenario 1 and 2, thinking about the short-term needs, and also, of course, over the long run. So we are working on the feasibility study for the road of Nouakchott and Nouadhibou, and we are also working on the possibility of extending the Nouakchott port, as well as extending Nouadhibou port. So these are the key elements, and it was actually that we are, for the coordination purposes, we created a task force with the European Commission and the members of the ministry in charge of maritime transport and in charge of equipment as well. And all of these efforts were also on the basis of the study that was made by GESA. So it's a key, this study was instrumental for making all of these decisions. Going back to Mauritania, what we have done, and just I'm going to be very brief because I think the subject is also to understand where we go towards the infrastructures. But yes, Mauritania, as Mr. Khan said, we started a couple of years ago with two flagship projects, the Aman and Noor project. Mauritania published its roadmap for green hydrogen in 2022. And then a major milestone for us was when we promulgated this green hydrogen code in 2024, which is one of the first, the second code in the world and the first one in Africa. So it was promulgated just after Brazil. And we think it's a key step, and it's giving a strong signal, not only regionally, but globally, that the government is very committed to developing its green hydrogen sector. So that's one key point. Alongside that, we started with two big projects. Now, as Papis said, we have more than 6 framework agreements. I'm thinking about 8 because there are 2 more framework agreements that will be signed before the end of the year. So we already have 6 framework agreements. We'll have 8 by the end of the year, alongside a couple of MOUs that were signed and that now we are thinking they might progress to a framework agreement as well. We are negotiating 2 GCs for the first 2 projects, the Aman and Noor. The GC, we call it a GC, it's the Global Convention. It's the key commercial contract that has to go through the parliament. And this is mainly decided by the government to put it in the code because we wanted to give a clear contractual path for the developers coming into Mauritania, to actually give them also this solid document that will help them mobilize such funds, because we are talking about billions of dollars. And I cannot talk for long, but I'm going to stop here and wish you good luck. We also have another important meeting, a workshop, and it's actually regarding the code and our action plan with the European Commission today at 3. The EU ambassador is joining us, and it's for presenting the action plan for the roadmap of green hydrogen, and also for la mise en œuvre, how do you say it in the application of the green hydrogen code, how we make it happen, and the manual de procedure. So a lot of things happening. We hope that we can see everything moving forward, and we are wishing you the best. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny, Ms. Abdelrahman, for your intervention and those inspiring works offering a compelling perspective on Mauritania's energy vision. Now I would like to invite and welcome Mr. Sidi Minehma, co-founder of Mauritanie Hydrogen. Sidi is a leading expert in renewable energy and green hydrogen. As coordinator at Mauritania Ministry of Hydraulics and Sanitation, he oversees desalination projects powered by renewable. Mr. Minehma, the floor is yours. Mr. Minehma, I don't know if you are here.
Yeah, my microphone was muted. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ignacio, for this presentation. Thank you, hello everyone. I'm so glad to be part of this webinar. Mauritania Hydrogen is a foundation which was created on last year in May of 2024 by some high-level Mauritanian personalities and experts, including a former minister, Mr. Cham Samba, the former president of University of Nouakchott, Mr. Ahmed Douhouba, and some senior consultant which were involved in the development of green hydrogen since the beginning of this new wave.
Sidi, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you please turn on your camera? And I don't know if you're sharing your presentation, but we are not seeing your screen.
Oh, okay. Let me share the screen. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can you see it? This is my. Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let me see what's Chrome. Okay, let me check. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm not used to what's
On our end, I have it here.
I don't know why I can't see the PowerPoint. I have prepared a PowerPoint and a PDF file. Okay, let me show if I can. Alors, fenêtre. Okay.
Maybe we can try to present it.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, now we do.
Okay, you can see it. Is it clear now? Ignacio?
Yes, Sidi, we can see it clearly.
Oh, okay. So Mauritania Hydrogen is an association which was created by some high-level Mauritanian personality interested by the green hydrogen development, just to complete the landscape of stakeholder in the green hydrogen association. For myself, I was involved in green hydrogen since 2007 through a Science for Peace program from NATO, and since then I'm interested in the development of this field. So the core vision of Mauritania Hydrogen is to be a central force in preparing Mauritania for its new energy road by contributing to the development of national skills, so providing high-level expertise in energy transition, climate change, digital transition, and sustainable development, promoting clean hydrogen as both a key energy vector and a chemical raw material. Most of the leaders in Mauritania still did not understand very well what is the green hydrogen and how it can contribute to the development of the country. Some of them see it as just a way to use the gas, natural gas, and we know that there is almost no links between green hydrogen and natural gas, maybe blue hydrogen. We want also to serve as a trusted advisor to the government and investor interested in Mauritania. We worked with the Ministry of Energy and Petrol in 2020, 23, and 24 to advise them on some issues in the hydrogen and to assist them with the developer. Mauritania Hydrogen has a flagship project which is to contribute concretely in the development of capacity building and training young people and even senior people to be ready when the hydrogen projects comes to become true. In a paper, in a technical note that we written in 2023 for the ministry, we identified the infrastructure as the main bottleneck to have a chance for those projects to become real. Mauritania has a global ambition to become a global hub for hydrogen. But to achieve this ambition, they started by developing a roadmap in 2022, which we contribute a lot in reviewing it and clarifying it. Mauritania has, and this is not a secret, has a world-class potential around, including an estimated 457 gigawatt of solar and 47 gigawatt of wind potential. The government, as Taqiyya said, has already signed a huge amount of agreement and MOE, but this still has to become concrete. And to become concrete, we have to overcome some challenge. The main one of them is the infrastructure deficit and the human resource deficit also. So Mauritania suffers from a notable deficit in the enabling infrastructure and human resource, and a very weak industrial ecosystem. This is a big challenge, and makes Mauritania very less attractive to global investors, as they cannot focus only on their project. They have to also address some other issues which can be very hard to solve. And only a government or a global vision can solve or give answer to this problem. So the development of adequate infrastructure along the entire value chain from production to export and capacity building are essential prerequisites for the sector's success. To achieve this, its goal, Mauritania must invest massively in several key areas, and those recommendations was given by us 2 years ago before the study starts. So I'm sorry if I would repeat what was already said and what will be said later, but it's important to mention that 2 years ago we recommended the reinforcement of the port infrastructure of Nouakchott and Nouadhibou, and the land transport, roads and rail, in order to be able to handle the APC works. For example, wind turbine can be very heavy, and we have to be prepared for logistics. And roads must maybe be upgraded to host or to transport over 200,000 containers of solar panels. Those numbers are the number given by the roadmap 3 years ago. Maybe they have to be updated, but it gives a good sense of what is required from the government to be able to host those projects. The rail between Nouadhibou and Nouakchott capacity must be increased in order to support the green steel projects. And we also have to upgrade our networks for water, for electricity, and for hydrogen transport. And finally, we recommend to do whatever possible to have a connection to Europe by a submarine pipeline to transport hydrogen directly as a gas to the main market of Mauritania, which is Europe. So as a conclusion, we recommend some priority action to overcome the deficit. Taqiyya, no problem. So we recommend to be conscious of the risk that the infrastructure deficit can make Mauritania a very less attractive destination to the hydrogen projects, despite its huge natural resource assets and new energy resource. So we identified those following action as a priority action. First, to define and execute an upgraded plan as a national priority, and I'm very hopeful and even sure that this study by GESA is will give answers to the questions. To maximize the synergy with other sectors like mining and gas, to mobilize concessional climate financing to reduce investment risk. Mauritania is still seen as a risky place for international investment, and ensure sustainability of infrastructure by certifying all infrastructure and product according to international green hydrogen standards. That was my introduction. I will give you back the micro just to say that the GESA, which is conducting this study, is also backing Mauritania Hydrogen flag project with UMCCP from Morocco. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sidi, for your intervention and for the perspective from Mauritania Hydrogen. It's great to have the inputs from our partners, our H4D partners. But before we jump into the main presentation today, I would like to remind you, as I did in the chat, that a Q&A section is allocated after the main presentation. We would like to invite you to leave the questions in the chat or open the microphone and the camera during that section. And additionally, before we jump into the presentation, we would like to thank to Martin Oswald for your leadership, as Martin was the task leader on these activities, and his effort and coordination were critical to present these results today. So now please welcome Mr. Tayeb Amegrud, Managing Partner at G-Power, and Ms. Laila Feher, Project Manager at GESA, who will be presenting the Mauritania Hydrogen Infrastructure Study Key Premises and Results report. Mr. Amegrud is an energy sector specialist with 30 years of experience in project development, planning, and investment banking. His most recent role was as a Director of Renewable Projects, Planning and Strategy at Morocco's Office of Electricity. And Ms. Faher has over 10 years of experience in the energy sector, has developed an extensive expertise in renewable energy projects, including wind, solar, and green hydrogen. Her career has taken her across various African countries, such as Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal, where she led an impactful initiative that promotes sustainable energy solutions. Dear Mr. Amegrud and Ms. Faher, welcome. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Ignacio, for the presentation, and I will also thanks Martin Oswald, who facilitates this study. And it's a pleasure to be here today and to take part in this webinar. We have the privilege of leading this coordination on this study on behalf of GESA, in close collaboration with the World Bank, Martin, and the Ministry of Petroleum Energy of Mauritania. GESA is an engineering and project management firm with extensive and experience in large-scale energy and industrial infrastructure projects across all Africa. Our mission in this study was to identify the infrastructure needs required for the deployment of hydrogen projects in Mauritania, while ensuring maximum socio-economic benefits and minimal environmental and social impact. Over the past months, our team worked closely with all stakeholders through field missions, technical workshop, and consultation with the project developers. That's to build a comprehensive understanding of the country hydrogen potential and its infrastructure readiness. In today's session, we have with us Mr. Tayeb Amegrud, as you said, Ignacio, is our expert. Will briefly present the objective and the methodology of the study, the main finding, and the key recommendation. Our presentation will also highlight how this study contributes to Mauritania's ambition to become a global hub of green hydrogen. We hope that the insights shared today will support ongoing discussion and future decisions developing a robust and inclusive hydrogen ecosystem. I will let Mr. Taib to present the studies. The floor is yours, Mr. Taib. You are in mute, Mr. Taib.
Yeah, you're right.
Now
Thank
it's
you,
okay.
Leila. Yeah, thank you, Leila. Cheers, thank you. And thanks to the World Bank for putting together this this event. And thanks to Martin as well. He was instrumental in steering the effort. As mentioned by Leila, the study, I will share with you just 1 second, the presentation. I have it somewhere here. Just bear with me, please. You have it in your screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so the study was carried out in 2024. I think it's important to mention that it was completed by July 24. So the some of the data maybe is outdated. I heard that the total number of sort of agreements or MOUs signed by the Mauritania now are in the range of 10, 12. I think back then they were like 6 or yeah, I don't remember, but they were half that number, I would say. And the study was conducted in conjunction with the Ministry of Energy and Petrol and the project developers as well. So it was, let me just move. Okay. So here I will share with you the methodology, the context of the study, obviously, very quickly, and very quickly the methodology as well. And will not spend a lot of time on the organization and the visits, but we'll focus mainly on the infrastructure definitions of scenarios and the analysis we carried out and the socio-economic impact as well. Bear in mind that this is a preliminary assessment. It was done over like 3-4 months. So it's not a detailed or deep dive into the infrastructure needs. But it was, we think that, I mean, we covered quite a wide set of objectives, and we try to define the right scenarios to go along with the green hydrogen projects development in Mauritania. So yeah, I mean, we all know that Mauritania is a world-class hydrogen destination, endowed with fantastic renewable energy resources, wind and solar, vast areas of land, unoccupied land, a sort of geostrategic position as well, close to Europe, and that's important to bear in mind to understand the interest of Mauritania as a destination for green hydrogen development. There's a potential for natural gas as well, with recent discoveries, and obviously there's steel, iron mineral reserves as well, which combined with green hydrogen, might enable a green steel industry. As for the methodology, it was based on a 6 steps approach. We carried out first workshops developers. Right? I mean, there were 6, and we managed to have deep conversations with at least 2 of them, which shared quite a lot of information. We then visited Mauritania a couple of times and carried out a sort of diagnostic or assessment of the existing infrastructures and their capacities. Collaboratively with the Mauritanian stakeholders, and with the World Bank, we could define the study scenarios as well. We defined 4 scenarios. We'll go into them later. And then the whole thing, we used our proprietary tools and models to sort of come up with proposals for infrastructures for each of those 4 scenarios, and carried out preliminary cost estimation for those infrastructures. Couple of pictures just to show that there were like extensive exchanges with stakeholders, various ministries, and port authorities to gather information and know and have a good understanding on the existing infrastructures. This slide provides an overview of the projects which were back then, beginning of 2024, were at some sort of an early stage in terms of development, where land was defined, and preliminary studies, basic studies were carried out as well. Here you have the locations. They span from between Nouakchott to north in Ouadhibou. Obviously, large areas near Ouadhibou are designated to host those projects because of the wind resource and the proximity to Ouadhibou as well. We held workshops with developers to have a good understanding of the location and their planning as well, and to know about their requirements in terms of transportation and the infrastructures required to at least enable the first phase of their projects. As I mentioned, the first step was to complete some sort of assessment of the existing infrastructures. This table provides the distance between different projects and to what we thought are the 4 main entry points to Mauritania, which are the Tanit port and Ouadhibou port in north, Nouakchott, and Diago in the extreme south. They are not comparable to the ports. We will get into that later, but it was important to sort of have a good understanding where these areas are positioned compared to this existing infrastructures, regardless of the size or of the infrastructure. Visits to the ports of Nouakchott, Tanit, and Ouadhibou were carried out by our ports team and transports team as well. We gathered information on these 3 ports. Here you have some sort of numbers and statistics on or characteristics as well of the existing infrastructures, berths, draft for each berth, and the lengths, the type of ships hosted in those berths, and the equipment in place in terms of cranes and mobile cranes, for example. And we also included here projected extensions or new or planned new ports. For instance, there's a port in Wadibu, deep water port. Our understanding that its development, it's at its early stage, but tenders were already floated to select potential partners to develop this port as within a model of a PPP. So yeah, and we assess these ports in relation to importing the required infrastructures for the projects and exporting ammonia or hydrogen. And you can see that Nouakchott we've already figured out that Nouakchott is well positioned, and that the port is well equipped compared to the other ports, and Nouadhibou can play a role, but we will see a limited role, at least in the first phase of the project. In terms of the existing terrestrial infrastructures, roads, here you have some data on the paved roads, the rail as well. I mean, there's one line, Lincoln and Wadibu to Zwirat, used mainly by SNIM. And in terms of roads, and Wadibu and Nouakchott, which is heavily used by traffic. Yeah. So yeah, our assessment is that based on this sort of diagnostic, that in the areas designated to develop or to host hydrogen projects, they're poorly linked to the main roads, basically the Nouadhibou-Nouakchott axis. They're inland, and some of the existing roads are in poor conditions as well. We also noticed that during rainy season, or when you have rain, some of these areas, access to some of these areas can be challenging. You have waterways without bridges to cross them, for instance. Infrastructures, there's a limited network, as I mentioned, and the network is mainly used by SNIM, and is, we would say, not maybe in its present condition, not in a condition to be used in the green hydrogen projects. Yeah, based on this preliminary assessment, we thought that without delving into the different projects or the connection between the green hydrogen projects and these infrastructures, that there's a need for extending the roads network to mainland, to Attar, for instance, to reinforce the Zwirat and Wadibu axis as well. And in terms of railway access, there's the Nouakchott-Wadibu line, which can be quite play an important role or a significant role in enabling some of those projects. Yeah, as I mentioned, there was a lot of modeling involved in this analysis. The assessment of the roads yielded that we need to invest. We need investments in order to rehabilitate some of those roads. There's a need as well to construct parking areas along those axes, and there's a need to develop maybe traffic management systems, at least to manage access to ports and exit from ports. For instance, we noticed that the access to the port of Nouadhibou and Nouakchott as well is can present some challenges because they're close or they're within almost the city, and accessing the ports involves going through roads heavily used by traffic. Let's skip all of this. This is just the sort of modeling we did because we sort of modeled the traffic involved in this project to come up with the requirements in terms of new roads and improvements of for the existing infrastructures. I'll go to scenarios. So yeah, in terms of scenarios, we selected 4 scenarios. The first one, the base scenario, basically the idea was to use existing infrastructures, modular some investments, to leverage on existing infrastructures to at least enable the first phase of these projects, i.e. the phase of construction. So this, I would say it's almost the bare minimum required in terms of investments to be carried out in the existing infrastructures in order to make to sort of enable or make the phase of the construction possible. I forgot to mention that for this scenario, we selected, or we considered that the total amount of renewables to be deployed was in the 18 gigawatts by 2030. It is challenging. I would mention that back then in 2024, most of the developers we approached, they indicated back then that the decision to invest was to be taken in 2025, 2026, with construction starting in 2027 for the earliest projects, and deployment of the infrastructure in 3 to 4 years, depending on the size of each project. So putting together all of those initial phases for each of those projects, we estimated the number, the capacity required in terms of renewables to 18 gigawatts, which translates to around 9 gigawatts in terms of electrolyzers capacity, and obviously the required ammonia reactors and associated equipment as well. So that's important to mention. So again, the scenario 1 is the sort of bare minimum to make this 18 gigawatt possible by 2030, 2031. The second phase, the second scenario includes scenario 1, and also adapting or expanding the existing infrastructures to enable exports as well in some of those ports, and also going beyond the what I call the bare minimum. I mean, to sort of leverage or use this opportunity to expand some roads and invest in some infrastructures. Whereas scenario 3 and scenario 4 are interlinked. They sort of the aim on a long term was to deploy, as mentioned earlier, 80 gigawatts of renewables, and scenario 3 is on the trajectory. The idea is, if we really think that we can achieve the 80 gigawatt by I don't know, 2040 or 2050. What would be the trajectory? What we need to do today to sort of enable the current projects while preparing the deployment of much bigger projects. The idea is to really start investing in additional or new infrastructures which can cater for the scenario 4 as well, i.e. a bigger ambition. And we carried for each scenario separate analysis. This is something important as well. In order to estimate the port traffic and the road traffic, we try to really come up with a list of major equipments and bulky equipments mainly, which are involved in those projects. So here, for instance, you'd see that you would need, for example, a number of blades of 3,366 blades, and the total weight is 117,000 tons. You would need loads of nacelles, 1122, etc., etc., and the number of containers in terms of PV, electrolyzers, modular trailers, pipelines as well, transformers. We try to be as sort of broad as possible in order to really take into account the amount of traffic expected when deploying this sort of big projects. What we did not include in this assessment or in this list is civil engineering materials. In terms of weight, they're almost double the sort of total weights we have here, but we consider that they might be sourced for some of them locally. So that's not taken into account. What we also did in order to make the exercise as realistic as possible is to phase the construction phase over 3 years. And we focused on the year where there will be the maximum of traffic, i.e. the quantity or the number of equipments to be imported is maximum. That would be 2028, where we consider that 50% of equipment will be imported. We think that 3 years is challenging to deploy this sort of big projects, but we try to be as conservative as possible in order to sort of stress the existing infrastructures. Here we're talking 18 gigawatts, and deploying 18 gigawatts of renewables, 9 gigawatts of electrolyzers, etc., in 3 years or even 4 years is a big challenge. But we decided with the approval of the client to stress or to sort of keep a sort of, I wouldn't call it worst case, but the most challenging scenario in order to stress the existing infrastructures. So that, as I said, the least favorable configuration is the year 2028 with important volumes to be imported. And for the ships, we retained typical cargo ships, which transport and deliver bulky equipment So we considered a typical ship in order to model the activity in a port and to assess if there's still, in terms of occupancy, there's still remaining time in a or capacity in a port to handle the coming new traffic. So in scenario one, for instance, we think that we can the port is capable of handling 53% of the annual import traffic for wind turbines. That's for the year 2028 I mentioned earlier. The containers are of no issue. Berths 8 and 9 can handle the traffic of containers, i.e. importing solar models, structures, and electrolyzers, etc. But when it comes to this sort of bulky equipments, blades, towers, etc., we can the port of Nouakchott can handle 53% of the imports. So there's a need for extra capacity, obviously. The same analysis was carried out for Nouadhibou. We didn't have access to recent information online, but the conclusion, even when confronting or interacting with the port authority, is as of today, the port is used at its maximum capacity in terms of rate of occupation of usage, and so there's no room for extra capacity to be used in the port of Nouadhibou. Therefore, we think that in scenario one, there will be a need to extend the Nouakchott port and to add 2 quays or 2 berths with a draft of. Sorry. I hear someone. Do I need to continue, or someone is asking something?
No, please continue.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I was saying with a draft of 12 meters, the capex required is in the region of $100 million for the port extension in Nouakchott. The same analysis was carried out for roads. So there's a required $70 million of capex to basically to reinforce the existing access and extend. It's mainly extending and renewing and enlarging the existing roads. There's no major roads involved in this scenario one, as we can see here in. But this is scenario 2, so yeah, the list is not included here. So yeah, it's $70 million for new works to enlarge existing infrastructures. In scenario 2, as I mentioned, we explored the idea of using existing infrastructures to export green ammonia, which means that we need to equip existing berths with loading arms, and so the conclusion is that the current configuration in Nouakchott leads to the fact that the port is insufficient to handle. It can handle part of those exports, not more than 50%, 60%, but not the total capacity of exports. For Nouadhibou, yeah, here, I mean, our team came up with these rates, which are this is 98% of the ammonia export traffic, provided obviously that there's investment and equipping those berths with appropriate ship loading infrastructures and loading arms. We also explored the export of one of those developers, CWP, mentioned that they were planning to produce green steel. So this scenario as well was explored. Our view is that for obvious reasons, I mean, SNIM is in North and mines are in North, and CWP project is in North as well. So it seems practical to use the Nouadhibou port, but this will involve increasing its capacity. And this is our understanding. It's that this is already planned. There's a project to dredge the access channel over this length of 15 to 25 kilometers and go deep to 18 meters to accommodate Cape-size bulk carriers. So the port in Nouadhibou can play a significant role in accommodating exports of green steel. In terms of the required investments, the total is $170 million to add 3 new quays with the appropriate draft depth in Nouakchott. And this obviously investment considers extension of the protective dikes and the additional dredging works required. There's also added to the construction of a new port. This one I don't remember. It is $90 million. I don't remember which location or at which location is planned this port. Yeah, let me check that later and get back to you. And in terms of roads, the required infrastructure increases from $70 million to $186 million. And this time, in addition to enlarging and reinforcing existing infrastructures, there are additional roads planned to increase or to improve connectivity between hydrogen sites. I mean, instead of having just the existing access or roads, new roads are planned. For scenario 3 and 4, since, as I mentioned, they are interlinked or combined, we considered various, for the port part, various assumptions in order to sort of carry out a preliminary assessment of the sort of new port to plan. So these are sort of details you generally take into account. I mean, a typical chemical tanker with 40,000 WT tons, a length of 190, draft of 12, turning basin with a diameter of 380 meters, and a channel with a total width of 110 meters. I mean, this sort of characteristics were used to plan and to estimate the cost for a new infrastructure. So this new infrastructure involves 3 berths, and it will be used to export as well. The whole it can handle the whole capacity. Obviously, I mean, it will be equipped with loading arms. Carried out an analysis. It's on, as I said, I mean, this is a trajectory. So the idea was to plan a capex of 300 million euros in phase 1, and then in order to achieve the 80 gigawatts, expand these infrastructures, ending up at a total cost of 120 million euros. We explored different sites. Different sites to locate this new infrastructure, this new port, and 3 main areas that, if I remember, were compared: the Nouadhibou region, north of Nouakchott and south of Nouakchott, and the southern region of Nouakchott appeared to be the most recommended option, since it provides for a lower capex compared to the other regions mainly. The requirements in terms of transportation infrastructures, the total cost is $2.3 billion, and the extension of the rail is a large, I think, share of the total cost. The rail connection is estimated to between Nouadhibou and Nouakchott. It is estimated it will cost in the region of $2.1 billion. So you have like $200 million to add new roads and reinforce existing ones. And the major part of the cost is for rail extension between north and south. This is a summary of these different scenarios. A financial analysis was carried out as well. So basically, as I mentioned initially, if the idea was to provide a first enabler to make the first projects happen without sort of having in mind or envisioning the 80 gigawatt deployment, at least the first projects, which sort of account for a sizable capacity. We're talking 15 to 20 gigawatts in renewables, $70 million for roads, and there's a $90 million for ports, it's not included here. So yeah, an investment to $150 million is sufficient. And if we want to enable or help the exports phase as well, while enlarging existing infrastructures or leveraging on the projects to invest in new infrastructures, the capex required it's more than 186 because ports are not included here. I think it's more than $300 million. It's $300 million. And the other two scenarios, this is an ambitious vision with a much sort of ambitious aim to deploy 80 gigawatts. Obviously, here we need more investments and large investments to make this happen.
Dear Tayyip, can we start wrapping up a bit the presentation? We need to move on to the next section. Thank you.
Yeah. And last, we carried out a preliminary assessment on jobs. We thought, or we think that the green hydrogen program can create large opportunities in terms of job employments. It was estimated to be 25,000 direct jobs, just obviously indirect jobs as well, and induced jobs as well. So they span from skilled jobs to unskilled, and in various sectors, in renewables, in wind and desalination. We also discussed, because we're talking large amounts or capacities of renewables, we sort of discussed the idea of siting some of the manufacturing in Mauritania. It can solve even some of those infrastructure conundrums on the short or medium term. So if the plan is, for instance, to deploy 18 gigawatts of renewables, out of which I think 10 gigawatt is renewable, is wind, maybe manufacturing towers or parts of towers or blades can make sense for this sort of big capacities. This is on jobs as well. And yeah, I mean, the last, and that's it pretty much. We're open to answer any questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Amegroud and Ms. Fejar, for the enlightening presentation and for the results shown here. So let's move to the Q&A section. Please, we invite you to leave the question on the chat, or feel free to open the mic and the camera to any question that you may have to Tayyip or to any of the other speakers that we have today. Erika, please.
Yes, Mr. Ignacio. Thank you so much, Mr. Amegroud, for this excellent presentation. It was very helpful and very informative, and it confirms in many aspects what we predicted before, the importance and emergency of upgrading Mauritania infrastructure in order to be able to attract and host hydrogen projects. Unfortunately, I did not have access to your report. I don't know if it will be shared after this webinar or not. I was just intrigued by an affirmation that you made, that you see Senegal, which is our neighbor from the south, as a potential have a potential demand for a green hydrogen. Can you just clarify us on why you think Senegal? This would be very great for Mauritania if we can have some neighbor which will have a strong demand for green hydrogen?
Thank you for this question. Strong, I'm not sure, but the idea is that because we have this natural gas hubs now in the region, and Senegal that's our understanding, is developing infrastructures for natural gas, transmission pipelines and distribution pipelines for gas, and there's BP, I think Mauritania is involved as well, I guess. We thought that hydrogen can be either blended to natural gas or can be used in areas where gas is used. I mean, if you have large amounts of gas, you can produce ammonia, and hydrogen can play a role in producing ammonia. That's where we see some demand, and not a strong demand. I completely agree with you, but we just see that there might be some demand from neighboring countries.
Oh, okay,
and this is yeah, and this is
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, just wanted to say, I mean, the idea here is because you have investment in this sort of large infrastructures, and they're big investments, and the sort of the rationale is to explore collaboration options with neighboring countries as well. I mean, if we sort of invest in this new infrastructure between Ouadhibou and Rosso, a new road, so it is worth it to explore avenues of cooperation with neighboring countries.
Very interesting. Actually, both Mauritania and Senegal has a big potential in phosphate and, for example, to make a green fertilizer to promote the agriculture. So this is where I see a potential demand in the near term, to make some green fertilizers, so we can promote green agriculture. Otherwise, I can't see a short-term potential in Senegal, and I'm not sure if they are working a lot on green hydrogen. Maybe I'm wrong. One single question, if you allow me. So we have here a big challenge. If we want to invest in infrastructure, we need to be sure that green hydrogen will become a truth, or that will be a market for green hydrogen. Because in my view, in the view of Mauritania Hydrogen, the main element in this discussion is to assess whether green hydrogen will be adopted globally. If it is not adopted globally, even if you have the best potential in the world, you don't have the market. So the market is the king here. And if World Bank or other funder want to invest in infrastructure in Mauritania, I guess they must be sure that projects will come up to get realized in the future. Those projects cannot be funded or realized if there is no global market for the green hydrogen, isn't it? So my question is how to de-risk the investment in infrastructure.
Yeah, I think this is the main question. This is a serious one. I think it boils down to what you just said. Do we take, as you put it, this bold? It's a leap of faith, and you sort of consider that these projects will come to fruition, and the market will be there, and you invest large amounts of money with the subsequent fiscal constraints for the government, or I mean, it's a difficult question. That's the reason. That's the rationale behind the scenario one. I mean, scenario one was selected with this sort of risk or question in mind. What can we do with the existing infrastructures without jeopardizing our fiscal sort of soundness as Mauritania? And we think, and our partners in Mauritania were surprised that we can do quite a lot with the existing infrastructure. I mean, with just I mean, the investments are not are still there. I mean, you will need to in the region of $150 million, but deploying the first phase in the region of 10 gigawatts of renewables, 5 gigawatts of electrolyzers, it is possible. And obviously, I mean, if one thinks that we can achieve, or there's a market for 80 gigawatts or 100 gigawatts, it's a different story. But you're absolutely right. How to de-risk it is to get as well the developers involved. I mean, some of those infrastructures, the sort of things we explored with the government is how to structure some of those infrastructures in PPPs. So to get them fund some of those infrastructures which are only required or necessary because of their projects. I mean, are almost only needed because of these projects.
Thank you, Taib, for your responses. Please let's move with Erika that were first, and then Dolph quickly, if you can ask your question, and then we can follow up outside this webinar discussion for sure. But please, Erika, if you would like to jump in.
Yes, sure. Thank you for the great presentation. It really hit close to home. So I just started at the bank about 8 months ago, and prior to that, I was working for BP on green hydrogen, on renewables for green hydrogen. So great to see the work kind of continuing. You've probably seen that BP did some announcements that they're kind of pulling back from a lot of that work. My question is along the similar lines to the last one, but have you thought through ways that even if green hydrogen is farther out than we think, that you're still taking steps to promote renewable energy, whether it's making requirements for oil and gas companies that want to access your gas to also do pilot projects with renewables and green hydrogen, or whether it's building out transmission lines so that there's cheap, free renewable power for other industries that may want to develop in the region. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you thank you for this question. I think we think that renewables. The reason why we think in green hydrogen in Mauritania is because of the fantastic renewable resources. I mean, if those resources were not in Mauritania, we won't talk about green hydrogen. So, in my view, I mean, the focus can still be on hydrogen, but the focus should shift, as you mentioned, to renewable energies. We can use those fantastic resources, which can achieve, I mean, quite interesting prices for energy, for power, to develop other sectors, other industries, get beyond green hydrogen. There's Mauritania. I mean, they have the natural resources like I heard phosphates, iron. We can get into polysilicon. Polysilicon is energy intensive. For instance, you have a lot of industries which are energy intensive, for which OPEX or energy is a large part of OPEX, or OPEX is in the 30% of the cost, total cost, and energy is like 30-40% of the OPEX. Mauritania can be quite competitive in those industries beyond green hydrogen, and for some of those industries, demand is there. I mean, demand for steel is there. Demand for polysilicon for PV industries is around, data centers, for instance, as well. Green hydrogen is an opportunity, but the opportunity is, as you mentioned, renewables and the fact that we can produce electricity at a quite cheap and low price.
Thank you, Taib, for your comments and insights. I don't know if Dolph has a last question. Then we quickly move to the closing remarks because we are running a bit out of time. So, Dolph, up to you.
Yeah, maybe first a comment to put these numbers a little bit into context. I mean, if we talk about 80 gigawatts of electrolyzer capacity for renewable hydrogen projects, then ballpark, the investment needs are 200 billion. And here we're talking about 2.5 billion. So we're talking about 1% of the total investment needs, to put these numbers a little bit into context. My question is one for clarification. The total investment need is 2.5 billion. In one of your last slides, you showed that 2.3 billion was for roads, but earlier you said that out of these 2.3 billion, 2 billion was for the rail line. So is it now 2.3 billion for roads, or is it 300 million for roads and 2 billion for the rail line? That's for clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, it was 300 million for roads. For expanding, there's 120 kilometers, if I remember, between Ashkuk and another locality, and a lot of reinforcement of existing lines, and just $2 billion for the rail. So the total is 2.3, and 300 is for roads, and 2 billion is for the 700 kilometers rail between Wadi Bou and Nouakchott.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taib, for all your answers. I'm sure you can follow up later through email. But I would like to jump into the closing remarks. So I would like to re-invite Dolph to the stage for delivering the closing remarks. So Dolph, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the presenters today. I hope we have given you a glimpse of the infrastructure needs in Mauritania and the investment opportunity and the different aspects that come into play there. We talked especially about the ports and the roads. Today, not so much about desalination and transmission and pipelines. Of course, these are other aspects of infrastructure that will also be needed. I think an important message is that there is a pathway to start with limited investments in infrastructure to enable the sector to grow. And as was also remarked, I mean, it looks like the build-up is going to take a couple of years of these before these projects reach FID. So it will be very interesting to use this study now as a basis to talk about how to go forward and to see how we can realize these important infrastructure investments. So I hope you found this discussion useful today, and I give back to Ignacio.
Thank you all for your closing remarks and for those words. I would like to thank to the audience, to the speakers, and to our H4D partners who participated today in this enlightening discussion that we had. So thank you all for connecting today, and we hope to see you next month in our new edition. So we can dismiss the session. But I see Sidi. I don't know if you want to jump in.
In my turn to thank you so much for this invitation, and also to remind you, if possible, to share with us all the slides today, so we can use them later.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We can dismiss the session.